Now it should work. All right, I think we're working now. I had to fix the internet real quick because it definitely was super slow, and I forgot to do the switch before I went live. But now we're good to go. I see me on both Twitch and YouTube. So let's pull this to here like that, and OBS there. Perfect. Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the last stream of, is this gonna be the last stream of the year? Let's see, because we got Christmas Eve next weekend. Maybe the 31st, maybe. Probably not New Year's Eve. So this is probably the last stream of 2023. So yeah, it has been another week, and I did a couple things. Mostly trying to clean up the office. That's the one thing I'm really trying to do right now, is make sure the office is all cleaned up so I can make some room for some other projects. I have not utilized the, close this out here. I did not, what did we do last week? Oh, the filament dryer. Have not used that yet. I have some filament just in my normal drying rig right now. Because I had a couple break on me, just because I left them out for like a week, and that they get very brittle very quickly here due to the humidity. It has been raining, so we're at 40% humidity here in the office. But I did a couple side projects this week. I worked on, I've got a shelf here above my workstation here, my computer, my desk, my standing desk here. And I made another little shelf to go on top of that for some of my personal Lego stuff that's not for the kids. I did 3D print. Oh, I went through cables. Okay, so as a guy, it's a very guy thing. It's very stereotypical. Every guy has a ton of cables. Thankfully, mine are organized, and they're not a bin of cables, but they are organized, and they are all right there hanging on the wall. Well, one of those hangers actually broke. A few of the fingers on it actually were breaking off. So last night I went ahead and reprinted a new one on the QD X Smart 3, and this is in Ziltech ABS because that's what's loaded on that machine, and it prints pretty good. The reason why I'm cleaning up as well is because I want to get the review video done for that. I've printed dozens of things on it now, and I've had very few failures. Most of the failures have been, I think, because when the air conditioner is on and it blows directly down onto that, the enclosure doesn't get as hot as it should, and ABS will split in it. It happens rarely, and it happens with tall things in ABS, which are a thin wall. That might just be a thing of ABS. Maybe I need to tweak the QD slicer profile when I print something taller to make sure those fans really are staying low, because it does utilize fan. And I don't know if there's a way to disable the exhaust fan on that. The exhaust fan's always on. It's like a controller fan. So basically once the printer heats up, it turns on. Or it's almost like the hot end fan. Hot end fan turns on at 50C. That turns on when it starts printing. I don't know if there is a way to turn that off. I have not delved deep enough into the QD slicer to see if that is a check mark, an option, something like that. I'm not sure. So I do need to do that. I also spent time cleaning up all the resin printers because I have had resin sitting in those for a time. And did my YouTube live just die? Oh no, it's okay. That was weird. So I had some resin sitting in those for a time, and I really need to get those cleaned out, because remember we talked a couple weeks ago at Hero Forge? Well, I've heard back from some of the kids, and they've sent me their models. I have not looked at them yet, and I have not obviously bought any of them yet because of that. So I plan on doing that probably this next week now that the resin printers are fully clean. I spent, not last night, Friday night, I spent a good hour just cleaning out the printers, getting all the resin out, filtering it, getting everything taken care of and cleaned up. Went through a lot of IPA to make sure they were clean. So yeah, I think I'm going to print them all on the Mars that I have, the Mars 3D printer. And I have a couple different resins here that I'm probably going to end up trying to finish up. So I still have a little bit of the Nova 3D ABS-like in gray. Have some of that. I have some Fast Cure from Dragon in a solid gray. I've had this for a while. It should still be good. And then I still have some of the Aqua Blue in any cubic. And I have the green, but, and I think I have some other stuff here from, oh yeah, I still have some left from some other Nova 3D in beige, and I think this might be gray. Oh, white. I still have some of that as well here. But the green from any cubic, this is a really old bottle, but this stuff smells like there's nobody's business. I mean, this stuff reeks. So I highly doubt I'll be using it in here because most of the time I will start a resin print when I go to bed and I just close the door. And most of these resins that I've been printing lately have zero odor whatsoever. It's also nice that I put the carbon filter on the Photon right here. You can see the yellow from its screen or its windows. That really helps with the smell. But yeah, this stuff really smells bad. It's great. I mean, honestly, it looks beautiful. Let me grab, I still have some old prints with it. I've got a Benchy here. I've got the crystal key. So this is one of my favorite prints, the Jade key. So this is the Jade key from Ready Player One, and it's translucent. It's basically transparent. I mean, if I was to put a clear coat on this, there's a matte clear coat on it now, but if I did a high gloss clear coat, that would be super duper easy to see through. And I've always wanted to do the crystal key as well, but I've never bought a clear resin, and I always hear the issues with clear resins yellowing after curing, or if you cure too much. I just haven't messed with it. I've really wanted to try a clear resin. I just haven't yet. I did have a copper key that I painted. I just printed it with one of the resins. I had an orange at a time, I think from Anycubic, and I just bought some copper paint and painted it with my airbrush, and it looked great until it broke. But I've had this one ever since. This was one of my really early prints, because you can actually see, if this will focus, you can see the dots on there. So that is where the support, because I printed it like this at an angle, and the support along that spine. So I think if I was to redo this, I would print it probably at that same angle, but I would select where I attached the supports. Because it is a clear, it's really hard to hide those dimples and whatnot unless you sand. And I'm not about sanding my prints, so I would just need to be a little bit more strategic at where I put those in order to have a more successful print, or another successful print, I should say, but having less of the noticeable scarring from the support. Fireball, hello. Sorry, I was getting to you. I wanted to finish that thought so I didn't forget about it. And here I have a Benchy printed in that translucent as well. That looks really good. I like it. Don't focus on me, focus on that. There we go. But yeah, this thing came out like buttery smooth. I did print it up with supports, so the bottom is not perfectly flat and you can feel those scars. I definitely think I would redo this just flat on the bed, no supports, just right on there, and just use my my print tool in order to get it off, because this thing is the best thing ever. I did a video about this years ago, this little sculpting tool, but it is super duper thin, and you can actually get underneath stuff like this and flex it and really scrape under there, or just like here. And this just really works out well. So I could always use this. I could always reprint it, but again, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But those are just some of the, I keep a few prints here and there that I just really enjoy. A lot of stuff I don't keep, I end up giving to the kids. I also have, my kids usually steal this, and I have to keep getting it back because I still really like it. This is a gummy bear printed in that same green. Oh, there it goes, fire in the hole. But yeah, again, it looks great. I would love to try to figure out how to really make this shine to see more through it. You know, whether it's pour some more on it or whatnot, but it wasn't a perfect print. Again, this was an early one. His butt kind of has some deformation to it. Looks like he was kind of sitting on it. But again, I really didn't know what I was doing when I first printed this one, but I just really liked the print. So I've kept it, and I have not replaced it yet. But I did print it kind of like this, and had support on the edge here and support on his neck, and that was it. And it was easy to kind of hide, and there's still some of the scarring there, but it was very easy to hide, kind of like those. But again, the bottom just didn't print great. I probably should have printed it straight like this and made a better grid underneath of it. But again, that's okay. It's just one of my little trophies there that I have. Did this dry? Yes, it did. I've also been on daddy repair duties, had to fix a pink microphone this weekend. Oh, but we were talking about cables. Yeah, so I finally, Fireball's asking, can I dip it in clear epoxy? I probably could if I had clear epoxy. I also can't get that through the mail due to it being fire hazard. And I have no idea where to buy that kind of stuff locally. So getting the resin in is hard enough right now. So yeah, clear epoxy probably would work, but I just don't have any. Yeah, so I took a big step this weekend in taking all the cables off and laying them all out and deciding what I actually need. And I ended up getting rid of almost half, I'd say, of the cables that I need. I just had too many micro USB or mini USBs, USB type A's or type B's, I should say. Got rid of a bunch of those. I kept all of my USB-C's except for a couple like really crappy ones that came with like a toy. Oh, you have some. That would be cool. I might give you a call on that and try that out. But except for some of the crappy USB-Cs that I had, I kept a lot, but I got rid of those. And then I still need to finish going through, which is still laying on my floor over here, is the iPad. So the lightning cables. I still need to finish going through those ones. I'm hard pressed to get rid of any of those because they are such a crappy connector. Like the lightning port is garbage. Nobody doubts it, and the cable quality is normally garbage as well. And I get a lot of times that the iPad, because when my kids pull them out and put them back in, they actually short, and you can see the burn mark between two of the contacts on them, and that cable's then shot. It doesn't even charge anymore. So I normally keep those, even the crappy ones, just to have a spare kind of laying around. Hey Aaron, how you doing, man? So I normally keep those ones. So that I still need to finish going through those ones. But yeah, so I was gonna mount this, but I think I'm gonna keep it off for right now because I might actually film that review tonight if I can finish cleaning up after this live stream. So I've been trying to get some of the Lego organized. I've got most of it out of here. I did finish the chest, so I gave that to my daughter. That's taken care of. I'm still trying to, I have a little bit of paint left in for my airbrush, one of the little jars. So I still need to, whoops. I still need to put more thinner in there. Let me just put this away real quick. just a USB-C charger. So yeah, I need to get that put away. There we go. While I'm standing here talking, I'm going to switch out batteries in one of the kids' things, if I have batteries for this still. But yeah, just trying to get things more organized and put away. There's lots of projects that I really kind of want to work on right now, but if your shop's a mess, it's really hard to do that. So I'm trying to just be better at cleaning up. I've gotten pretty bad at it lately. After I finish something. Is this on? Is this supposed to light up? I don't know. Yeah, I just need to really put things back away once I finish a project. That's not the biggest thing. I've gone back and forth with doing it. I get really good at it for a while, and then I suck at it for a little while, and then I get good at it again. It's just kind of like a super vicious cycle when it comes to just keeping your shop clean and tidy. Oh, and then apparently this karaoke machine made it here onto my desk, so I need to look at this as well. I'm guessing it's dead. I guess it's dead, so it might just need to be charged. That would be great if that's all it is. I've taken that thing apart several times now. And, oh, I don't have any more of these batteries. No, those are CX198s. I have one LR44 left. Cool. So I know what I need to put on my Christmas list. Some LR44 batteries. Keeping up with batteries and kids is the bane of any parent's existence. I'm sure all the parents out there will absolutely agree with me. But yeah, it's tough to keep up with the batteries for everything. I did get in some more rechargeable AAAs though, because those are key for a lot of things, but mainly the remotes and the Lego trains, because I just burned through too many AAAs by not using rechargeables. So I did get another pack. I just use Amazon basic ones, and it comes with a lot. There's 24 that come in a pack. You can get smaller packs, but I went big. I only have one charger still, so that it's still slow going on that, because this one 8-bay charger, just have to keep swapping them out. Actually gonna do that real quick here. But I also wanted to, I think a couple weeks ago, some folks were telling me about a different hot end for the V0. And I have to admit, I have not looked into it. I still have the tab open, because that's how I organize my life, is I just keep the tab open until I go back and look at it. But I need to go back and research the different hot end for the V0, especially now that I have, I mean, it prints pretty well. I mean, I'm very happy with the quality of the V0, especially compared to the Legacy. The V0 is a very tight machine. It does very well, and I haven't had any flexing or loosening ever since when we put in that new rail about a month ago on the X-axis. Ever since then, it's been going just fine. I've had no issues with the head coming loose or print quality or anything like that. So success for that. And it is properly spaced, because Adam was shaming me about not using the proper jigs when you attach the linear rails to the extrusion, there's a jig you're supposed to use to make sure that everything is square and centered. So I did that, and again, it seems great so far. Put that back over there. I did find, oh, I meant to share that the other day. I found a really good, it's honestly one of the silliest things, but one thing is if you have the acro mills, okay, so these red drawers right here, those are acro mills. If you're not familiar with them, they're like part drawers, and they come with dividers, but not enough for every single one of them. And then over the years, you end up losing them because you take some out and then you're like, oh, I'll just put these here and I'll remember it later. And then you move several countries and you lose them. Finding a good printable divider took a hard minute, honestly. So I finally found a good model, and I put them all into the other room where we have the other acromills for the Lego. And it was actually a really great model. I found one at first, I was like, oh, this is fine, but it was like bowing them out, so it was kind of making it tough to put them in and out. Then I found one that was honestly spot on and super easy to print. It took like, I don't know, 8 minutes on the V0 here to print that. A stealth burner on the Legacy. It probably, maybe, I need to print a little more with it, honestly. I did ask in the Discord. I don't think anybody replied. Nope. So I really want to try to figure out a cost estimate for the printers, because I really have no idea how much. I mean, I know how much I spent on them, but what they're worth is very, very different than what you actually spend on something. So I've got my clone Prusa Mark III's here. I've got my original Mark III's Plus, because I think I put a Super Pinda on this one, so that's the Plus for this one. I've got a Bear 2.0, a Bear 2.1, and then I'm keeping Optimus Prime. That one's not going anywhere because it has the Hermera. I like that a lot. Megatron is just a skinny bear, so it's a 2020 bear printer that Aaron and I did. And then I've got my Prusa Mini clone. The FT5. The FT5 is going to go. I think that I will probably end up just giving the FT5 to the makerspace here. I'll text him probably after the holidays and see if he wants to pop over. I'll give him that. I'm going to keep the IDEX. I still have not figured out what I want to do with the BLV and Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus will probably go. The BLV will stay. The BLV will transport easier. It's heavier, but it will transport better because it is just such a solid machine. And I want to keep at least one large form factor that I know works well. And it works pretty well. I do have a few issues here and there with extrusion, but overall, I think it prints really well. And speaking of printing with it, I need to print another half drawer tonight on that printer. So I will fire that up after this live stream and get that printing. But I need to get, and then the resin printers. I have no idea what to do with the resin printers because nobody here prints in resin. And it's not like I can sell that to a workmate and say, hey, here, go forth and print with resin, because it takes a lot to go with it. So those might end up being, I'll send those out just for maybe once one for shipping. So I'm still trying to figure that out. I'll just give those away. Shipping will be probably $100 to $150 because it's super expensive to ship, and I just don't want to throw them away. But I mean, if no one ends up wanting them, I'm just going to have to just chuck them, because what am I going to do with them? I'm going to keep the Mars, but I think the Photon and the longer one will both be the two to get rid of. But yeah, if I had to guess, they're probably going to be about $100 to ship out. And go from there. So that'll take me down. The QD, I'm really liking that printer. It prints well. It prints ABS really well, which is a huge plus because I've never really gotten into ABS printing because I've had so many issues trying to print with it. Like I'm trying to build a box or make a hot space or something for like the Prusa, and then it's melting the part cooling fan, which super reminds me I need to print a new one for that. So I'm going to print that in ABS. I'm going to pull that up here in a second here. Um, uh, um, yeah, we're just going to go here to printables and pull it up real quick. I need to print a new fan shroud for it. And the nice thing that it's on printables, so I can just go to it, find the fan shroud STL, and download that one by itself. I do like how they just link it straight to printables now. I like it. And they have an official page on here as well, which is really cool. I wonder, is the fan shroud different between the 3S and a 3S Plus? Because it looked a little different. It is different. Okay. So I need to do that. Let's get rid of this. Downloads. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't realize that these were different. So this is the 3S and this is the 3S Plus. So I need to use the 3S because the 3S is what the Butterworth extruder uses. It doesn't use the S Plus, but it should just be that one. But I'm using the Butterworth design on both my Mark 3S and my clone Mark 3S. So I guess that's why I didn't notice that it was different. Yeah, I mean, this part, I mean, look at this. It's going to take 11 minutes in ABS on that printer once it gets up to temperature. Getting temperature takes a second. But again, I'm not a crazy, oh, it has to print in it has to heat up in 2 seconds and whatever. No, I don't care about that. It just needs to work. And it's going to print now. Got quick on that mute button. Woo! I hate to blow somebody's heads off. I always imagine when I sneeze rather loud, but I always think of The Fifth Element whenever the guy's got the little cockroach that he's controlling and the president smashes it with his shoe and like his headphones like go like this out. I feel like that's what's going to happen to somebody if I sneeze and they've got headphones on. So it's just kind of the visual going through my head whenever I need to sneeze during a live stream is like, oh, I'm going to blow somebody's head off because I sneeze loud. I very much have the dad sneeze. My kids tell me. I very much have a dad sneeze. I need to get I think I need to find a AAA dispenser for all of these charged batteries. What was that? Legit, what just fell? Something just fell. Maybe that box was leaning and it fell over. I don't know. Something just fell. Something moved behind me. Yeah, one for charge, one uncharged. There's a couple here that I mean, like this one here is pretty cool. I just need something simple. Depleted ones, yeah. I want something very simple. I don't want a super complex design or anything like that. I really like the battery holder that I have. So this one, I bought this one for, I think it was like $1, the STL for this. But I've used this one for many, many years now. You see it's fully filled because I keep it on the desk so the kids can just come and grab batteries out of it. And they flow down very, very nicely once they're full. Loading it can be a little bit annoying because you have to be a little careful on when you put them in, how you put them in, so because they will kind of cant, because this track here, you can see the darkness, it goes all the way down to here. Well, in this bend, they can kind of twist. But yeah, this one, I've used this for a long time and I will continue to do so because it's just a really, really useful print. I love useful prints. I've designed my own and fixed some up that I've found, but you know, it's just been that. I think I might do this and then I'll just do 2 different colors of charged and depleted. Adam, what's up, buddy? Yeah, so I'm gonna go with this one right here. I'm gonna go with this guy. It looks super easy to do. Oh, I don't want Cutie Slicer. I need to pull up Bruce Slicer. But yeah, we're gonna print that out and I'm gonna look for some filament now because I have a bunch around. We probably could do this in a proto pasta because why not? I have a bunch. I've got, here's a green. Yeah, I've got a green here. And then I have a red on the printer down there. So I might need to do that. I might need to just pull that off of Bumblebee. Print that next big piece in something different. Turn it on so that I can preheat it and get the filament out. My nose is starting to run for some reason. There we go. But I kind of thinking about joining them because I would like it to be, this can fit, how many? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I can fit 40. I have 48. Well, I have more than 48. But I think what we're going to do is, does he have the, oh, just G-code file. Okay. Let's do some Fusion time. So let's go to Fusion. And we're going to insert the mesh. There it is, and it's gloriousness, and we're going to convert it, and then we'll simplify it. Calculation will take some time. Cool, there, it's done. Can I delete some of these faces to make my life easier? I hope so. Now the dovetail you got to worry about, I'm just going to join them together and I guess I could just glue it because if I want to be 2 different colors, I should probably just glue them together. That'd probably be easier to do. Probably. Because that's taken forever. So we're gonna stop that because there's a gajillion triangles. There's more than 10,000 triangles on that model. I just wish people would just upload the Fusion file or upload a step file of whatever it is that they do. I normally upload a model for people to edit things that I post. Regardless of how niche it might be. It's easy enough, but why design it when it's already done? It's work I don't have to do. So we're just going to print it next time. Okay, I'm not going to download the new version right now. 2.7.1 is out, and I'm at 2.7.0. No, we're just going to pull this in, and it's big. It's almost max volume for the little guy here. But we'll print this on the Prusa. And we'll do it in a PLA. Just need to double check the filament temperatures. There we go. Slice that down. I mean, yeah, I can easily make a grid of however big these holes are and then extrude it. Like it's easy enough to do, yeah, but it's already done. So I'll just print it 2 different colors and call it a day. So let's go to Bumblebee. And let's get that extruder heated up so we can pull that filament out. So I've got this, so this is Kermine green, I don't know. Can't always pronounce a lot of the various names that they use for different things. But it's a gradient. I honestly really like a lot of the protopasta gradients that they do. It's nice to get some of the solid colors depending on what you're doing in printing, but for a lot of stuff that I do, gradients add a little bit of life to the print. Although I kind of want to set up the dryer. That's trash. Spent the last 2 evenings also building a set, so that was fun. Got a little bit of Lego builds in every now and then. Okay, let's get that out of the way. And let's bring up this out of the way. Ooh, let's get the dryer. It's got a nice long cable, so I can just do that. That. Is it plugged in? It's not plugged in. Now it's plugged in. There we go. So, how do I want to do this? I guess if it comes out the top there, that'll work out all right. So, I feel like this is going to be a little bit obnoxious to try and fish out, right? And not let it get loose on the spool too. All right, let's preheat this PLA. Should get a longer piece of PTFE tubing. out. So I need to get the spool. I have a ton of tubing just laying around. Where's the end? There we go. So if we want to do from here, kind of all the way down to like there, that's pretty good. This is a super wide ID one, just because I never want to risk a filament being the wrong size and like screwing up your print, because it your reverse Bowden tube, it has too tight of a tolerance. I don't need a tight tolerance in my reverse Bowden tube. I just need it to guide filament. This is hella long. I can push that through there now. And we can load the filament. Might, where's the, let me get a Velcro strap real quick. Yeah, loading, unloading filament is not the easiest. So we're just gonna give it a looseness there. Okay. So see, the one thing is I have not found the new profiles for the Mark 3S, because with the new firmware, it should go way, way faster. But it's not. Here's a 0.25 quick. I'm not sure if that will be the one I want to use or not. That's better, 2.5 hours. That's better, but it doesn't do a prime, and I don't like that. I like it to have some prime. Upload and print. Okay. So this is heated up now, so we're gonna extrude a little bit out. Oh, it broke. Cool. Well, that'll definitely do it. I pulled too hard on the filament and it broke in the PTFE tube. Just pull that out now. Again. We'll find a different filament to use. Okay. So yeah, now that's going, which is great. Put this PTFE away now. This guy is just about done. It has 0 minutes left. And it's 10-minute print. It's just the speed of this thing is just crazy. I mean, I guess it's the unlocking of a Core XY using Clipper and, you know, fairly decent hardware. The Chinese companies have figured it out. At least the Chinese companies that are not Creality have figured it out, because Creality has not figured that out yet. Maybe they will one day. But just like that, it's done. Set it there to cool down. This is now trash. There we go. And then I still need to do the cable loom, redo that on the BLV, because I had a sensor wire break, and it was actually on the sensor, actually at the hot end. I thought it was the wire, so I pulled all the loom off. I checked everything, figured that was it, put the new one on, and then for the past like 5 months, I've been running it without the cable loom on it. I've just used Velcro or twist ties on it, just to keep the bundle together. Golly, just the fact that this thing just does perfect, the Mark 3S just does perfect first layers every time. It just drives me a little crazy that other machines just can't be this reliable. And a lot of my newer ones are getting more reliable like that, but just out of the box from them, it's just infuriating how well it works. Because you try everything you can with it. See, just like that. The new part is done, ready to go. Pull out the support piece just like it's nothing. Let me get a little square M3 to put in here. I think these are them here. Hey, Eric. Yeah, I was a little late today starting. We were watching a Christmas movie with the kids tonight, so a little late starting. But we hadn't watched, we finally watched Noel, which we had not watched since it came out. And it came out 4 years ago. It came out in 2019. It's like 4 years ago. Good gravy. Yeah, we just had not watched it yet. So we finally went ahead and watched it tonight because the kids were asking about it. And they've seen the newer Annie movie with Jamie Foxx, but they've never seen the original Annie. And the school is doing their spring musical is going to be Annie. So we told them that they need to watch, and they want to watch the original Annie, because my oldest wants to be Miss Hannigan, and my other one that can be in it, she wants to either be one of the orphan kids, or she wants to be Sandy, which is the dog. My animal lover. So yeah, that is what they want to do. So we're going to watch that soon. But they're on break now. They're on break for a couple weeks, which is great. They get some time off, get to rest, which would be really nice for them. I'm taking the week of Christmas off, which will be very nice as well. Well, I start on this Thursday coming up. I'll be off through January 2nd. So I'll have, what's that, like 9-10 days off straight, which would be really nice. Just take a break, play with the kids, hang out home, 3D print stuff, play with Lego. Why not? I have a bunch of videos that went out on the Lego channel. I am editing a couple for the 3D printing channel right now. But again, I really want to get this done and posted soon, just to kind of knock that out and not be worrying about it. And then I need to get some resin prints done. I might do a video on the Hero Forge ones, just because content is king, and maybe it'll be decent content for someone who's thinking about it. I don't know. Kind of see how it goes. If there's anything else that I really want to cover tonight, I don't know. Oh, I did print some other things recently. Funny thing. So power this past week has been truly atrocious here. And I normally don't lose power, but we did several times. Our generator failed to start, it had dead flat battery, so I had to get the battery changed out on it. All was good after that. But it's just been in and out a lot, and even the quick blips just nukes everything. Like my wireless, my servers are on UPS, but my main rig here is not. So normally when Fusion crashes, it will open up and say, hey, we can recover this file. And then Fusion actually, speaking of Fusion, it finally deleted all those faces. So it makes this a lot easier to play with now that there are just so many less faces on here. If I zoom in here, it can probably delete one of these. Yeah, I would just do this. It just makes it cleaner for whenever you're trying to do an extrude. Say I print this and I'm like, you know what, these actually aren't deep enough. I want to make them deeper. Once you kind of delete all of these random faces and you're down to just one face, you can just select it, hit extrude, and then you're off to the races. Makes it very easy to work with once you have just a single face. The faces on the walls of the holes doesn't really matter as much unless you're trying to match it or make the hole bigger. You could try to do a project and then do an offset from there, you know, or whatnot. But this is easy enough to do. It just took like literally 15 minutes for that to process and delete a couple thousand faces. The problem with everything on a UPS is I have to replace them pretty much every time I move, and that gets really expensive. And UPSs are not cheap. Sorry, when I finish this, I'll continue the story of what I've been working on. Because it didn't save regardless. I might do one up again here real quick. So yeah, so we're gonna save this real quick. AAA battery holder, save that. So, come on, open up. There we go. So, yeah, normally you'll see it, or if you go here to file, I think there's a recovery thing here that you can do. Oh my God, will you stop? Okay, fine, go away. Normally you can do the open recovered documents here, and normally it'll open them up, but it didn't. So what I made is, I'll draft it up here real quick. So I needed to make a new stocking hanger for our stockings, because what we did last year is we had some command hooks, but we've used those for other things now, and I don't have those. So I decided just to make my own kind of command hook type thing for ourselves. So all I did is I'd made it 50 millimeters long, because that's pretty much how long those are. And then I made a 15 millimeter wide hook here, and I just went ahead and offset it by 3 millimeters. And then I brought this up another 5, the end of this hook here. And all I gotta do is hit this, close it, okay? Then we can extrude. And those command strips are, I think they're like 18 millimeters wide. So I can just make that 18 mil. And then we're gonna do a nice fillet on all of this, just to smooth out that top a bit, okay? And we're just gonna do a 2 mil chamfer on it. So now what happens is this is the shelf is right here. It's a fireplace. So the shelf is right here below it. And this gives me a nice sturdy hook. Printed this out of ABS with the layer lines going this way, sideways, which is great because I have all the strength of the print and zero support, which is also very key because I design 99.9% of the time for no support, and this absolutely does that. So I went ahead and made this, which was very quick and easy. I printed out, we needed 10 of them, so I printed 10 of them out, and then they're all hung and doing well, and those command strips seem to be holding well. Another thing I designed is I needed a headphone mount for work. So I went ahead and kind of did this very similar type thing, except that it was, how wide was it? I think it was 18 millimeters wide. And then I just gave it a 5 mil gap. I did the same thing is I just offset the whole thing 3 millimeters, and then just drew a line here, a line here, and now I can extrude it. And this, I need this to be 12 millimeters thick, and that's very simple headphone mount that goes right on the top corner of your monitor. So like right here basically is where it hangs off of, sits on the top, comes down the side and shoots out a little bit out of ABS. Because the layer lines again are this way and it's such a thin part, ABS is more than strong enough for holding on to the headphones. Adam, I needed 10 because there's 7 of us, and then we're dog sitting 2 dogs and the cat. That's 10. So that's why we need 10 of them. But yeah, so this is a super quick and dirty. I designed both of these several times now because the power was going out so many times recently. It was just an absolute pain. I was like, oh my, like thankfully I'd saved it. Like I've already printed both of these out. The headphone mount I have just printed one of just to test it out, and then I'll print them out in bulk for people. But this one I printed out. It took me 2 iterations because the first one was a little bit too small here. I only did I think it was like 8 millimeter wide, and it was a little too small, my wife said. And then she wanted to come up a little higher, so adding the little lip after the hook comes over, adding a little more higher height to that kind of really ensures that it's on there securely. And I made it as wide and as long as the command strips, which help out as well. Benefited cloud-based, I'm forgetting the name. Oh my goodness, I know what it is because people talk about it all the time. Onshape, yes, Onshape, that's it. So Onshape is cloud-based. I've tried Onshape a few times. I haven't really, I'd have to dedicate, I mean, I went full bore into Fusion. Like I said, this is what I'm going to use, and I just went with that. And that's been what I've been doing. But I haven't done that with Onshape yet, just because it's also browser-based. I really like being able to work on something. If my network's down, it's fine. I can still work on it locally. It just won't save to the cloud. So that's the benefit of having a software-based CAD design, is I can work on it wherever I want, whether internet's working or not, which a lot of the time here, internet's not working. So I have to deal with that. Thankfully, these last 2 times of streaming has been pretty good. Once I've switched to the different internet, I have 2 different internets coming into the house. Once I switch to the other one, it's a lot better latency. So that's that works out well. Yeah, taking the batteries out, it's one thing, but I've also switched every time I move. I'm either a 110 or a 220, and buying dual voltage UPSs is just way too much money. And I'm not willing to spend that kind of money on a UPS because power supplies are super robust nowadays. But like the last post I was at, place I lived, it was 110. Here's 220. I'm moving back to 110 place next summer. So it's just, I would always have to keep buying different things, or again, splurge and spend all that money on a dual voltage one, which are very expensive. So yeah, I don't want to spend $200, $300, $500 on a UPS times a bunch of them. And knock on wood, I have never lost a piece of equipment due to a power switch, ever. So that's what I've got 2 servers out there. I've got my main rig here. I've got the kids' computer. I've got the VR rig, TVs. The only thing that's really I worry about is the internet, because when the kids were, especially when the kids were schooling from home because of COVID, I wanted to make sure internet didn't drop out because they're on an iPad on a battery. I needed battery backup for the internet so they wouldn't get disconnected from their class. And then my 2 servers. The 2 servers are on that, or actually one is. My main server is, but then the secondary one is kind of just my bonus space. It does a copy of what's on the main one. It does a snapshot of it onto the secondary. And it does that daily. So I don't, if I ever lose the first one, I can restore from the other one. It's fine. But either way, again, they're server grade hardware with, I use FreeNAS. Well, now it's called TrueNAS Core is what I use on both rigs. And they've got really, really nice platinum rated, I think they're 1,000 watt UPSs in there with super micro server grade hardware running a bunch of multi-terabyte drives. The secondary system I think is 4 terabyte drives, and the main rig is 12 terabyte drives or 16, 10 terabyte maybe, I don't know. It's at least 10 to 12 terabytes for those, and there is 14 drives in there, 2 VDEVs running RAID Z2 with 2 hot spares, 1 for each pool. So if a drive ever dies, and I actually have a cold spare. Actually, let me look at it. What's my cold spare? I have a brand new one here that was a warranty replacement that is still in the packaging. They're 10 terabyte. So they're 10 terabyte WD Reds is what I have in there. And like I said, I think there's 14 in the main rig. There's 14 in both of them, but again, the second one's only 4 terabytes because it's, when I upgrade the main rig, I take those drives and I move them into the secondary one. So to increase that capacity after I increase that, and then I just get rid of the other drives. I usually give them away. I gave some to the last guy that worked for me. They were all 3 or 2 terabyte drives, and he was getting ready to set up a NAS at his house to start playing with. So I gave him all those 2 terabyte drives. I was like, they might not be great because they've been running for years, but it's better than nothing. He's like, great. He took them and was messing around with those and was able to start a little sandbox at home. Because I think he had a Synology that was like his core stuff, but he wanted to have like a little sandbox. So I gave him all that to make a little sandbox rig with, which worked out for him. I have to say, these brand new batteries charged really quick. I put those in, what, a half an hour ago, and all 8 of those are green now. So now I just have to wait for this guy to print out this part. It only says it'll take 2.5 hours. So in that time, the red filament will be pretty good to go, and I can print that as well. So that's what I have for today. Let's see what Adam says. I run 12 8 terabyte ZFS Z1s, 3 drives for VDEV on an Epic Supermicro board, overkill, Mr. Great. Oh, my boards, the boards I have, my secondary system is a dual CPU socket. It was meant to be my primary, but I had an issue with compatibility or something like that. So it's running 128 gigs of RAM with 2 quad core Xeons in it, slower Xeons, but it's got 16 cores that it can run with 120 gigs of RAM, which is great. And the main rig is 64 gigs of RAM with a Xeon in it. It's like a 2760 or something like that. Pretty doggone fast. It encodes really well because multiple of us can watch Plex at one time and have it transcode on the go. And it just, it chugs, like it does good. The only thing I would want to do is, I'm thinking about when I move to get a better wireless router or a mesh system, something that has 2.5 gig, and then upgrading my network to 2.5 gig. Because right now I'm still gig. It's usually fine, But I really would like to have 2.5 gig networking because I hardwire the servers, the VR rig in the living room, and my main rig here are all hardwired together. You have a 2.5 gig switch coming today. That's great. But I'm thinking for my wired network to switch to 2.5 gig. I think that'll just be a little bit better. I'll have to get new NICs because I don't think any of my current motherboards do 2.5 gig. I'd have to pull up the specs. This Gigabyte Aorus that's in this machine is pretty beefy. It's one of the Epic boards. It was like $300 when I bought it. It's super feature rich, but I don't know if it has 2.5 gig. And same thing with the other two machines. I'm not sure if they have 2.5 gig or not. But the kids' gaming machine is just running off Wi-Fi because they play Sims and Roblox and crap like that. So they're not doing anything that's like super network heavy. And it's really just for them to piddle around on every now and then. But this weekend, my second oldest, she's 10, has decided she wants to play Horizon Zero Dawn on my PS4. So I have been helping her through that, and she's made it a good chunk of the way through the weekend. Letting her play, just having at it. I help her here and there as she gets to something that's too hard. She's running story mode, so like it's the easiest it can be, but she's enjoying it. They've all watched me play. Like I played through it once when I first got the PS4. Where I lived last time, the guy that I worked with, he bought a PS4 Pro and gave me his old PS4 under the requirement that I bought, what was it, Breakpoint? I bought Breakpoint and I would play with him. And I did. And we played for like 2 years together. It was a super fun game. I really enjoyed it. But I bought the microphone and headset and everything for it. And we played that most evenings together and weekends. It was a lot of fun. And then I played Zero Dawn through myself. And the kids wanted to watch. So I played it straight through the whole storyline only with them. I did a couple side quests to keep my level up. But I played through it with them, and they really, I had all 5 kids sitting around watching me play on the big screen, which was fun. And then I don't think we did a playthrough of the West. Did we do that one? I don't think the new one. I don't think I've played through it and I've beaten it, but I have not played through it with the kids. So maybe whenever she finishes, she'll want to play Forbidden West afterwards, which by all means, go ahead. They're super fun games, but Forbidden West is way bigger. There's a lot more to it compared to the first one, but I think after playing the first one, going directly in the second one, she'll be a little more adept to it and have more of the controls and whatnot. But no, it's fun that she wants to play some of those games. I really enjoy that. I like them wanting to do that. All right, so like I said, I highly doubt I'll be streaming next weekend because that will be Christmas Eve. And then the following night will be New Year's Eve. So that probably won't happen. So it'll probably be 3 weeks before I get back. Hopefully you guys will see the QD Smart 3, X Smart 3, sorry, review by then. And we'll see whatever else I start printing because I'm not really sure. There's a couple projects I want to do. I need to get a Lego yellow because I found I think is a really good minifigure, giant scaled minifigure that I want to print. There's a ton of people that do it on Instagram. They sell them on Etsy and they sell them on eBay. Custom big printed Lego figures. And I would love to figure out how to do that and get that working. And then if it's dual color, I would love to try and get that to work on the either on the IDEX that I have, or if I end up getting enough money. Let's do a quick money check here. Let's check what AliExpress affiliate is. Because if I get enough, I said I would buy one of the new Bamboo A whatever they have with the AMS. And I really want to do that, assuming I have enough. Not yet. Is that what I have right now? I have 244 currently. I've not made much in the past few months here. So they have the A1 Mini. So the P1S with an AMS. So the A1 Mini with the AMS is $459. The P1S with the AMS is $1,000. That's a lot. And then the A1 that just got released with the AMS is $559. So the A1 Mini is the cheapest one with the AMS Lite at $459. Yeah, so the A1 alone is $399, $559 with the combo. So, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting one of these just to have an option for multicolored printing. Is really the only reason why I'd want it is for some multicolor printing, but we'll have to wait a little while longer because we're not there yet. Maybe a couple more videos, a couple more ways to get some money from it. So yeah, that's what I'm waiting on, saving up for getting the. That's fine. Yeah, just get enough to get something that's multicolor because that'd be great. You know, again, the palette isn't horrible. It takes a lot to set it up, and that's the one thing is once you get it set up and working, it's great. But then doing anything else just gets kind of annoying. So I wouldn't mind maybe trying to figure out how to get it working with one of the bears maybe, instead of using the Prusa for it. But again, that would just be a couple nights of tweaking to get that really working. Yeah, Bamboo has simplified multicolor printing, 100%. There's no doubt there. They have made it available to the masses, which is great. Again, some of the practices are still meh. It is a Chinese company, so there's only, trust as far as you can throw them, but it might be worth a shot to test out. But with that, I'm going to call it a night. Again, I'm going to try and finish cleaning up in here, and if I don't record this tonight, I will at least clean up tonight and then be able to record tomorrow night after work, because I think that would work out as well if I just get some more cleaning done in here. All right. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate it. Again, if you want to help me buy some stuff for the channel, use those links down below. It doesn't cost you anything, but a little bit of what you use comes back to help me, and I appreciate that. So thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. I will see you all in a couple weeks. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas if you are one of the ones that celebrate it. Otherwise, happy printing. I'll see you next time.